Hi, my name is amish.aggarwala. I'm an advocate practicing at the Supreme Court of India, and today I want to talk about the time that I was cheated and I could do nothing about it despite being a lawyer myself. A few years ago, perhaps 2 or 3 years ago, I looked up a maid agency service in Yellow Pages or some directory online and wanted to save a little money on hiring a maid service without any reference of family or friends. I reached out to that maid service. I asked them about their service. They gave a very lucrative offer. I think it was 25,000 for the service, in which they would ensure that if the maid that we were given would not be satisfactory, we can ask for somebody else to come along, and we'll have an option to do that 2 or 3 times. Seemed like a decent offer. The man seemed to be genuine, and so I struck the deal. The deal was that the person who was in charge of the agency, he sent his employee on a bike with the maid, and that employee and maid came. They showed us the documentation, including the photocopy of the Aadhaar card of the owner of the agency. I, being a lawyer, am always skeptic, no matter what. So I went through the documents carefully. Nothing seemed out of order. I made the payment of rupees 25,000 in cash to the employee of the maid service agency, and the maid proceeded to, and signed the documents of course, the maid proceeded to start with the household chores. Barely an hour later, she left through the back door and did not pick my call. Neither did the owner of the maid agency pick my call. It was after an entire day that the maid service agency owner finally picked up the call and stated that he shall try to find a replacement. Another day or two passed, no calls were picked up. Finally, we realized that this was a case of fraud. The money, that is 25,000, was given by us and it vanished into thin air with that maid, with that employee, and with the owner itself. Of course, I rushed to my local police station, complained of this act of cheating, and after a few weeks of investigation, despite their best efforts, the police were not able to track down this maid agency. The owner and his ID proof turned out to be a fake one. The man to which the Aadhaar card actually belonged came and told me that he had lost his Aadhaar card a few months prior. And that was the end of the story. In fact, I was more afraid of a false case of rape or maybe sexual harassment being put on me if by any chance any of the accused persons was actually nabbed, because that is what the scenario in this country is. If you've seen any of my other videos, you will see how much I talk about all these false cases that I keep getting. And I just wanted to talk about this incident in this video, because a lot of times circumstances are not right and things just kind of fall into in this place where things just are not in your control. But you can do things to mitigate such kind of situations. The one mistake that I did that could have saved me this little money, but more than that, the feeling of being cheated, I could have saved myself from by insisting on a bank account transfer rather than agreeing to handing over a sum in cash as was requested by the owner of this maid service agency. If I would have done a bank transfer, things would have been much more seamless. I have had several scenarios where people have been cheated, but if the account transfer is done, there is a much better chance of you being able to nab the culprit. Also, Aadhaar card. A lot of people feel that once they have the copy of someone's Aadhaar card, they can be secure about their money being recovered or their dues being recovered. This is another great example of how things can just go out of control and you don't really have any option but sit and remember this as a good lesson.